Guys, welcome to Unit 10, Day 6. These are just a few extra examples of adding and subtracting rational expressions. So the first thing that we always want to do is we always want to make sure that all of our expressions are locked down so we can identify much easier as to what is multiplied and what is factorable and what's, and break things down that way. Also, I would also advocate that you go like this plus negative. And always assign that the negative symbol goes in the numerator of that second fraction. You don't want to have to distribute it through the denominator. That's just messy. So really all we have to do here, now that we've identified our first term and its factor, and our second term and its factors, we have to identify the second factors here. The two things that multiply together to give me negative 18, but add to give me negative 3, well, that's x, minus 6, x plus 3. So really, this whole thing, I can rewrite it in its factored form. Plus negative 3x over x minus 6, x plus 3. If I write a list over here of all my common denominator factors, I have x minus 6 here. I have x minus 6 over here as well. I don't need to write it again. Over here, I do have an additional x plus 3. So my least common denominator is x minus 6 times x plus 3. So that means this denominator has all of those components, but this one doesn't. So I want to go ahead and multiply by the x plus 3 because that's what this one does not have. Now I'm not allowed to just multiply the denominator. I also have to multiply the numerator. Technically, I'm only multiplying by, right, 4 over 4, what's that? 1, right? 4 divided by itself. X plus 3 over x plus 3, 1. So really, I'm only multiplying it by a value of 1, and I'm not changing the inherent value of the fraction. So here I can go ahead and multiply. I get x plus 3. Here I get plus negative 3x, and that's all over x minus 6, x plus 3. Now you don't have to multiply out that denominator. I would actually advise that you not. If you want to go ahead here and combine like terms in the numerator, because remember the division symbol here is a grouping symbol. Okay, it groups everything that's up here as long as, right, it's got the pluses and the minuses. So we have to combine them, right, and simplify that before we can go ahead and divide. The only thing I see here is negative 3x plus x is just negative 2x, and then I'm left with a plus 3. There's nothing else there that I can do. Then leave the denominator as x minus 6, x plus 3. This is what I want you to enter in for your answer in Delta Math. Okay? Another example is one that doesn't necessarily have a denominator for all the terms. So these ones are really great in the sense that I can just identify the denominator here is x minus 10. That means the only thing I have to do here is multiply the top and bottom by x minus 10. The 7 does distribute through the numerator. So here I get 3 over x minus 10 plus 7x minus 70 over, you guessed it, x minus 10. And then I can combine those terms. I'll go this way. 3 plus 7x minus 70 all over x minus 10. Well, the only thing I can see that I can combine here is the 3 and the negative 70. That's 7x minus 67. And we're done. That's it. You can't factor anything here. And you're done. That's the answer. So the answers do look kind of funny, but, it is what it is. It's very abstract. So here I have another one of these. The first thing that I'm going to advise that you do is 1 plus negative, right? Assign the negative to the numerator here. And make sure you've put parentheses around all of the factors. So here are the denominator factors. Let's list them. Let's go with this one first, x plus 7. So this is going to factor into two things that multiply to give me negative 35, but add to give me 2. So that looks like plus 7 and x minus 5. So over here, my list is actually going to be x plus 7 and x minus 5. So here I'm going to write the factored form. Plus negative 5x over x plus 7. And then what I'm going to do is this denominator has all the factors that are in my list, but this one doesn't. So I'm going to multiply this by x minus 5 over x minus 5. I do have to multiply this term to both of these terms and distribute. So I get 7, right, minus 5x squared plus 25x all over x plus 7, x minus 5. Then I cannot distribute any of that. That looks like that's done. There's nothing common. This is not factorable, so it looks like we're done. And there you have it. Okay? It's not the prettiest answer, but it is the answer. And good luck on your assignment. Continue with the rest of the questions. There's not many. And let me know if you need anything.